Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This is one I'm very excited to make. So over the weekend on Friday, the uh, April the 1st, I was able to drive down to North Carolina, about 2 hours and 15 minutes south of me, and see the bard, the greatest songwriter of all time, the creator of, you know, making the person that made folk mainstream. Of course, the person I'm talking about is Mr. Robert Zimmerman, Bob Dylan, my all-time favorite artist. It was my fourth time getting to see him. The first time I saw him, I was a junior in college. It was 2015. He had just come out with his first Sinatra album, and then the second time that I saw him was the following year in November of 2017. I saw him again in 2018, and then obviously COVID got in the way and he didn't come to my neck of the woods in 2019. So I was able to catch him for a fourth time, this time out of state, and it was a great show. So Dylan, it's very interesting. Dylan's been calling this tour his Rough and Rowdy Ways tour, and if you can see above me, I've kind of got my poster that I bought, and you can see where I saw him and everything. But so from 1989 up until the pandemic and global shutdowns, Dylan was on unofficially what was called the Never Ending Tour. Now, of course, in 2020, the Never Ending Tour came to a halt and stopped, and so Dylan was on hiatus from 2020. We did receive in 2020 this fantastic album called Rough and Rowdy Ways. I remember I was sitting at home, the back there, that's the single, Murder Most Foul, the first single. And I remember I was sitting at home, and all of a sudden I get a notification on YouTube because I'm subscribed to Bob Dylan's YouTube page. It's the song title, and sometimes Bob Dylan's page will put up like official versions of his old songs, like Blowing in the Wind or Ring Them Bells. Like you'll see Bob Dylan's just posted a new song, but it's a song that we already knew. However, this song was posted called Murder Most Foul, and I was like, I've never heard that title before. And then I read the post, and it said something like, "Hello everyone, this is a song we recorded a while back, and we thought that this was the ideal time to release it, given the trying times that everyone is going through. Stay safe," something like that. And then it said Bob Dylan. And all of a sudden I look at the song, and it shows like 17 minutes. And I was like, what is this? So I listened to the song with this very sparse arrangement, and it's unlike anything I've ever heard from Bob Dylan. It was like he was going through his musical archive, essentially. Like he was listing off all these artists. The song starts starts involving the John Kennedy assassination, and then it just moves into a time of innocence in Bob's life. He summons all these characters. He kind of speaks indirectly to Wolfman Jack, the old radio personality, to play all these songs. He mentions everybody from the Rolling Stones to he mentions everybody from like Fleetwood Mac to the Eagles, the Beatles. Just he mentions all these different artists. I think he mentions the Beach Boys, maybe. He mentions everybody that you can really think of. He mentions old music, country music, classical music, just tons of literary references. Also, anyway, it was this crazy song, 17 minutes long. It's his longest song to date. And then he releases two more singles. He releases the next one called I Contain Multitudes, which is a similar sounding song, very dirgy. And then he released the song False Prophet, which is a rockier song, pulls almost directly from another old blues song musically. But anyway, with all that being said, he's got a new tour out called the Rough and Rowdy Ways Tour. So he's abandoned the Never Ending Tour moniker, even though he never really said anything about that. And the tour is slated to go through 2024. So speculation is that this might be Dylan's last go around, because he's never set a date on a tour. So, and he's, again, he's calling it the Rough and Rowdy Ways Tour, which is the name of this album. So with that being said, I get to the arena. It holds about 3,000 people, like a performing arts venue, and sold out crowd, and no opener, which I love. Probably a little bit after 8, maybe like 7 or 8 after 8, the lights go down. Dylan's people come out. You can see the stage is black, but you can see his hair, with a very faint backlight, just enough light for them to get on stage. And then the show starts off, and they break into the song "Watching the River Flow," which at this point, if anybody's planning to see Bob Dylan and they don't want a spoiler, you might want to watch this after, because from what I understand, the tour set list has not changed since this kicked off back in 2021. So if you don't want to know what the set list is, I don't recommend watching any further. But he sang the song "Watching the River Flow," which appeared on his Greatest Hits album. Then he played "I'll Be Your Baby Tonight." He played "To Be Alone With You." He played, I think that's what he played. I think it was "To Be Alone With You." Let me see. Sorry for this was on a whim. Yeah, he sang "To Be Alone With You," and then he just started breaking into Rough and Rowdy Ways material. He did 9 out of 10 of the songs here. He had a really neat, really good piano solo on "I Contain Multitudes," and he did every song except for "Murder Most Foul." I think that was just because of the length, but he did "I Contain Multitudes," "False Prophet," "My Own Version of You," "I've Made Up My Mind to Give Myself to You," beautiful ballad, one of his best love songs, and just killer. "Black Rider," which is dark. "Goodbye Jimmy Reed," which is a rocker, that was really cool. "Mother of Muses," beautiful. "Crossing the Rubicon," and then "Key West." But he also did "Gotta Serve Somebody," a really rocking version of "Gotta Serve Somebody," which he's incorporated back into his set list the past few years. So that was great. So he also closed the show with probably my favorite Bob Dylan song, and that's "Every Grain of Sand" from the album "Shot of Love." It's the last song from his last album from his gospel trilogy, and I'm so happy I got to hear him do that live, even though it's a different arrangement. So good. But one of the arrangements that really stuck out to me was they did "When I Paint My Masterpiece," almost like in this country style, almost a hoedown kind of. Donnie Herron was playing the fiddle, really great fiddle playing on it. Again, the whole concert, Bobby was behind the piano. So it's no surprise that Dylan hasn't played guitar in a while. I think it might have to do with arthritis. But the last 3 times that I saw him, Dylan did about a quarter of the songs at the microphone, like just him at the mic, and then he would walk to the piano. Dylan wasn't moving around the stage much. Between 2 or 3 songs, he would come out, and they had a microphone set up between the piano and the drum set, and he would come out and hold the microphone like, "Here I am, it's Bob Dylan," and then he went back to the piano. And I was about 6 rows from the front, and this was the first time that I kind of thought about Dylan's mortality. He sounded fine, the band was great, he played harmonica, only on 1 track, and beautiful to hear him play harmonica. But I could see when he was behind the piano, he kind of was holding the side of the piano as support. He stood up, but he was kind of holding the piano as support. And I've never really seen him prompted by any kind of teleprompters or lyric sheets. However, you could see he had a binder with all the lyric sheets, which again is fine. If you've heard his songs, they're full of lyrics. But it's just a sign that he's 81 next month. So treasure Bob as long as you can. If you can see him, go see him. If you want an idea of what the show is going to be like, I would recommend listening to this album first, because he is not the same Bob Dylan that he was even when he started the Sinatra albums, like Fallen Angels or Shadows in the Night or Triplicate. So he's a different Bob Dylan. Um, I think he enjoys being on stage still. There was one point I think I could tell he kind of had a cold because he would sit down on his piano bench and he blew his nose a couple times. And at one point, I think he was getting caught up in the lyrics or he missed a lyrical cue or something. And you could hear him because the stage is completely mic'd. You could hear him look off to the side and he went, "Jesus, man," like to himself, like, "Man, I missed something." So it was neat to see Bob as a human being. So, and at one point, I think he was talking to Donnie Heron, and they exchanged a laugh, and Dylan laughed. So he's enjoying it. I mean, the man doesn't need the money. He just sold his musical rights. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars, so he's doing it to enjoy it, playing these really nice, nicely acoustic rooms, these performing arts venues. Just the master at work. So check him out. Tickets are pretty reasonable. Um, if he comes, he hasn't announced any tour dates past the end of the spring. But if he comes near me again this year, I'm going to go see him, no doubt. So go check him out. The band is top notch, and let me know what you think. I know I've talked to a few of you all off YouTube and know your opinions. So leave comments below. I would love to know your opinions. I know Rod, the Happy Hippie, went to go see him in the fall. Really enjoyed it as well. So thank you all for watching. Leave the comments, subscribe, and y'all be good. Take care.